Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, can you
Yeah, you can hear now?
Yep.
Okay, so let me know when to start.
You're fine now.
Should we begin? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي Assalamu alaikum. Yes, sorry, we've been having some technical difficulties. The past 15 minutes been trying back and forth. Okay, sorry about that. Inshallah, let's try it another time. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى ال سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Amma ba'd, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the opportunity to be here, alhamdulillah, although virtually, but connected from different parts of the community for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that we can benefit and share and hear something that will be hopefully beneficial for all of us in the long run. I want all of us to, inshallah, make this appeal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Ya Allah, we've come here with the intention of benefiting. Ya Allah, we ask you to allow us to hear something, to allow us to hear that which would be of most benefit to our deen. Oh Allah, whatever type of difficulties we're going through in our own lives, spiritual, emotional, and psychological illnesses or difficulties, obstacles, Ya Allah, allow us to find the solution to that in the Quran and Sunnah. Allow us to find the solution to that in gatherings of dhikr and remembrance of Allah. Oh Allah, allow us to find our answers and allow us to find solutions to our issues in dini gatherings. And inshallah, we all should have this full hope in Allah Azza wa Jal that this gathering of ours will be accepted in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that it will become a means of many questions being answered, inshallah. We've set up a method of for our attendees to ask questions through slido.com. You can look at the screen. You can either scan the QR code or simply go to slido.com and type in the meeting number 4086 404 4086 404, and we can go ahead and type in a question, hopefully relevant to our discussions. And if you think the question is appropriate, or you feel that that's a question that you would like answered, then go ahead and give a thumbs up to that, and inshallah that will push that question to the top. So today's topic about self-reformation and how we can, inshallah, build ourselves as Muslimat, how we can move from one stage to the next. This is a very general topic, and there's so many different ways we can address this. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He allows us to address it in the most powerful and most beneficial manner. Dear mothers and sisters, and dear even brothers, same would apply to all of us, is that a big role in our spiritual health, and even beyond that, our emotional and psychological health, is the company that we keep. The type of people we spend time with definitely have a huge role in our development and our health. And if we are staying with people of iman and taqwa, if we stay with people of good emotional, psychological well-being and health, if we stay people who have a positive attitude and thinking, then inshallah we'll see that it will definitely have an effect on our own selves. And if our company is not the best, then it will definitely rub off on us. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Al-maru ala dini khalilihi falyanzur ahadukum man yukhalil. That a man follows the religion of his friend. So be sure who and be cognizant and aware of who you befriend. Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, Al-akhillau yawma'idhin ba'duhum li ba'din aduwwun lil muttaqin. The friends will be enemies of one another on the day of judgment. They will be enemies of one another. Illa al-muttaqin, except for those who have taqwa. Those who have taqwa will be able to enjoy each other's company. Otherwise, the average person on the day of judgment will be hating that individual who he regarded and she regarded as a friend. Because they will realize that these friendships have not helped us, but rather have harmed us. Allah mentioned Surah Safat. A man will be looking for his friend, and he will not see him in Jannah. Inna li kana li qareen. I used to have a friend. Where is he? I don't see him. يقول أئنك لمن المصدقين. He used to tell me, do you seriously believe in Islam? Do you really believe in this revelation and the Prophet of the time? أئذا متنا وكنا ترابا وعظاما إنا لمبعوثون. Is it really that after we die and our bones have disintegrated and we have become soil and we have mixed in with the soil completely, do you seriously believe that we will be that we will be questioned and we will be rewarded or punished by Allah? So I had a friend who used to speak like this. I don't see him in Jannah now. Where is he? So they will now say, okay, he's not in Jannah, let's look elsewhere. You only have one other place to look, is Jahannam. Would you like to go look and peek into hellfire if he's there? They will peek inside the hellfire. They will see him in the midst and the deepest part of Jahannam, his friend. He will be shocked to see his best friend or a friend of his deep down in hell. May Allah protect us all. And he will be saying, Tallahi, by Allah, in kitta la turdeen, you are so close to misleading me. You are so close to misleading me. وَلَوْلَا نِعْمَةُ رَبِّي. And if it wasn't for the blessing of my Allah upon me, لَكُنْتُ مِنَ الْمُحْضَرِينَ. I would have also been with you in hell right now. So this is the power of friendship, that it can take a person who is righteous and make him in the most unrighteous person, make it even lead him to kufr, and can take a person who is not righteous and take him towards iman. Think about all the converts, mashallah, we're seeing every week and every day, rather, I should say. A big chunk of them, Allah Azza wa Jalla has guided them to Islam through a Muslim friend that they had. And many times they end up going further than the Muslim friend who converted them. And at the same time, when we see today people leaving Islam outright or leaving the practice of Islam, we will see that it is the friends that they had which have caused that. So our reformation, one very key component to our reformation in tarbiyah, is that we surround ourselves with people of salah and piety and taqwa. We surround ourselves with people who have priorities of deen. And inshallah, in the company of such people, we will see that we will benefit tremendously. I would like to today read through an excerpt of Imam Ghazali's final work, Bidayatul Hidayah. Maybe you heard of this book. It's called Beginning of Guidance. Bidayatul Hidayah. Very beautiful book. Imam Ghazali has mentioned many important things that a person must use in order to, and can use in order to, get guidance. And I would like to read some of the aspects of the final section of his book, where he talks about friendship, because this is what it boils down to. the type of people we spend time with, even if we are a young adolescent sister or a senior citizen, a grandmother, the type of people we hang out with is exactly what's going to lead us to a good ending or a bad ending. Allah forbid. And if we make sure our company is of people of taqwa, tahara, ittiba' sunnah, and our focus on the deen, inshallah tabarak wa ta'ala, we will have a very beautiful ending. So Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi, in his book Bidayat al-Hidayah, towards the end, he speaks about, I said, friendship. And what you need to be looking for in a friend. So I will read, inshallah, and also translate and explain. We do not, I'm sure most of us do not have the book, so that's fine. You can just you can listen, inshallah, and follow along, and I'll make it easy for you, inshallah. He says, al-ikhwatu wal-asdiqa, that when it comes to choosing a friend, you have to actually not just choose anyone you see anywhere to become your friend, especially for our young sisters. Anyone we see online, anyone we see in social media, anyone we see in a party or an event, before we choose them to be our friend, we have to do some homework. What's the first homework? أن تطلب أولا شروط الصحبة والصداقة, to check for the presence of the qualities of companionship and friendship. Does this person meet the criteria we have? Does this person meet the criteria we have to choose them to be our friend? You know how we have for marriage? We see you cannot obviously just close your eyes and marry anyone. You have to see if this person is worthy or is appropriate match for the bride or an appropriate match for the groom. And we are very particular in the type of homework we do, the background check that we do to ensure that this young man or young woman is an appropriate, good match for our son or daughter, our sister or brother. Similarly, research must be done before you choose someone to be a friend. Because why? He said, Rasulullah said, Al-mar'u ala din khalili, a person's religious life is only as good as that of his friend. A person's religious life is only as good as that of his friend. Meaning it is not possible that we have, usually it's not possible that a person has very high expectations of the deen from himself, and mashallah he's studying the deen and he has this desire to really be a righteous servant of Allah, but then spends their time with people who do not have the same priority, who do not value the deen, who do not care about salah, do not care about haya, do not care about hijab, do not care about obedience to parents. If a person is spending time with such people, then it will become very difficult to remain and retain the goodness that we are trying to inculcate within ourselves. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam did not say your religious life is based on your mom or your dad or your spouse or your madrasa or your school. He says ala dini khalilihi, based on the type your very close friend. Khilla, it means someone who you are closely attached with. There are many deeper explanations of this word, but simple thing is that this is coming from the meaning of the inner portion of the heart, the inner crevice, inner corner of the heart. That's the one whose love is inside the heart is your Khalil. So what you call your best bosom friend, your best friend. The Prophet ﷺ is saying that you will end up following your best friend's deen. That's it. So if we want to know right now what is the condition of our deen, let's ask ourselves, who do we really love? This is something really important to take note of. It is extremely hard for a person to truly love someone and then at the same time to separate yourself from the sins that they're doing and absolutely hate the sin while loving the person. Usually what happens is if you love someone, then their actions become beloved to you as well. And what happens? That it becomes increasingly difficult to separate ourselves from their sins. A person says that this individual, mashallah, is a very nice person, you know, but my dear sister, she hasn't prayed salah. She doesn't pray. She doesn't wear the hijab. She's hanging out with random non-mahram people. But I say, no, look at her character. She is my best friend. If I ever need any help, she's there for me. She'll give me a ride in the middle of the night. If my car breaks down, she'll be there to help. She'll help me move. She's such a nice, gentle person. Okay, mashallah is good. So now what happened? We have this mahabba and love for this individual. But the fact that they're not wearing hijab, or the fact that they have non-Islamic practices, or the fact that they are absolutely negligent in their fara'id, or the fact that they are disrespectful to their parents, etc., etc. What happens? It's hard for us to separate that from the love we have due to their kindness and their character. And usually, what ends up happening is that we start giving excuses. We say, "Oh, she's on her journey. She's on her hijab journey. She's still learning. She's still like this and like that." So, okay, you're giving excuse for someone, fine, but it doesn't stop there. What happens is that in the process of giving excuses, is is that we end up no longer hating the sin. Dear mothers and sisters, it is extremely important that we have to hate the sin. You don't hate the sinner, but you have to hate the sin. If we do not hate sin, this is a big sin itself. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in hadith, أحب الأعمال إلى الله الحب في الله والبغض في الله. The most beloved action in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to love someone for the sake of Allah, and yes, and to dislike someone for the sake of Allah. We don't usually speak about this topic, but now, especially nowadays, in the type of compassion and love culture we have created, that rarely it's ever spoken about, that disliking something or someone for the sake of Allah is actually not only allowed, not only jaiz and permissible, not only sunnah, not only mustahab. No, ahabbul a'malillah, it is from amongst the most beloved actions in the sight of Allah. That a person not only loves someone for the sake of Allah, but also dislike someone or dislike something for the sake of Allah. That this person is so kind and so loving and so caring, I want to make them my best friend. But the sin of theirs and the continuous disregard of the deen that they have, I'm sorry, I have to part ways. It's not going to happen. Imagine someone who is very kind and very righteous, and not righteous, but very good to you. But there's only one problem, is that they use very foul language against your mother, very foul language against your family, against your brother. How hard would it be for us to then continue that relationship with that individual, no matter how many good things they do? But if they start using foul language against our own parents, naturally what happens, a person says, I'm sorry, I cannot continue meeting you. I cannot continue spending my evenings or my Saturday, Sunday afternoons with you. We cannot go out to eat. We cannot share meals together. If you continuously, every time you meet me, you say one, two bad things about my mother. Similarly, beyond this, when a person is like someone, fine, but this person disregards Islam, disregards the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, disregards the sunnah of our Habib Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then a believer says that this is not possible for me to divorce what you say and what you do as a person from your relationship with me and your akhlaq. So going back to where we said about this hadith, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam did not say a person follows the religion of his family or of his school or so forth. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said Khalil. Khalil means the one who you truly love from your heart. So when you truly love someone from the heart, then what happens? All of their actions become beloved to you. So this is the gist of this hadith, is that we have to be extremely careful who we love from our heart, lest that becomes a means of us loving their actions, even those actions which are not good. So then he says, when you go out to search a good friend, he says, then look for 5 important things in a friend. You have to search for 5 things in a friend. Number 1, most of us will probably never imagine this, but what Imam Ghazali says that we should find, he says, al-aqlu. The first thing we need to focus on is intellect. Okay, the first thing we should focus on is intellect. Meaning, a person who we want to befriend should be, have good emotional intelligence. Should be have some sense of self-awareness, should not be a fool, should not be someone who is absolutely, um, you know, absolutely unaware of things. What we call bewakuf, or what we call ahmaq in Arabic, what we call foolish. Because what will happen? Because when a person does not have, when he says there is no good in friendship with a foolish person, for such friendship will only end in breaking off of relations eventually and estrangement. A fool will end up harming us, even though they may be intending to benefit us. وَقَدْ يَضُرُّكَ وَهُوَ يُرِيدُ أَن يَنْفَعَكَ, because that's exactly what that means. That this person may harm you while he's trying to benefit. He thinks he's trying to benefit you. And he goes to the extent that الْعَدُوُّ الْعَاقِلُ خَيْرٌ مِنَ الصَّدِيقِ الْأَحْمَقِ, that a person, an enemy who's intelligent, an enemy that is intelligent is sometimes better than a foolish friend. And how? So I remember when I was doing my Hifz al-Quran long ago, when I was, during my childhood, my Ustad shared a story with me. He says that one man, he's sitting with his friend. Then this friend of his took one stone, a rock or a large pebble, and he threw it at this man's face, his own friend's face. Now it hit him really hard, and he was in pain, and he was just shocked. Why would my friend right in front of me take a stone and throw it at my face? So he said, "What are you doing? Why did you do this?" So this friend said, "Oh, you know why? Because I noticed there was a fly on your nose, and I was trying to shoo away the fly." So what did he do? He threw a stone at him. So my ustad at that time, to give you an example, he said, "This is what you call a foolish friend." MashaAllah, he had good intention that he wanted to shoo away the fly. But look what he used. He used a stone to shoo away the fly. How foolish that is, and how actually harmful that is. So this is why it is important that when we are choosing the company of friends, we choose a normal, sensible person. Then they will carry tales. They will share things that they shouldn't. They will talk about things of your private affairs that you shared with them, or asking mashallah from them about it, and they will share this with others, and thereby exposing you in a very ajib manner, and really compromising you're compromising your well-being. So this is something that a person needs to stay away from. Okay, then Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayh, he mentioned the second characteristic that you look in a friend, which is al-husnul khuluq, right? Good character. So the first one is intellect, emotional intelligence, and sensibility. The second thing is good character. He says, فَلَا تَصْحَبْ مَنْ سَاءَ خُلُقُهُ. Do not be friends with anyone who's got bad character. Now the definition of bad character, mashallah, is very important that he gives here. He says, وَهُوَ الَّذِي لَا يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ وَالشَّهْوَةِ. That a person with bad character is the one who cannot control himself, cannot restrain himself when he is in a state of anger, or he cannot restrain themselves when they are in a state of lustful desires. Meaning there is no control to their desire, no control to their anger. Okay, now basically someone, when they lose their temper, they have no control over their tongue. They say the craziest things, and they do the craziest things. Those type of people you need to stay away from, because in that state of rage, you don't know what they're going to end up doing, and you're going to get harmed, even if that rage comes every 2 months, 6 months, 8 months. But because they're so close to you, you've opened up to them so much, they may end up harming you in ways that you can never imagine. They may end up backstabbing you. They may end up harming you physically, emotionally, so forth. And number two, what is bad character? The one who has no control over their lust. And lust is of many types. There's the appetite for the food. There is a sexual appetite as well. There is, there is a desire to purchase things. That's a shahwa, that I need to continue to purchase shoes. I need to continue to purchase purses. I need to continue to get latest new gadgets, latest new phone every now and then. So there's no control. There's a sale. I have to go get it. I have to go purchase it. A new spring sale for clothing, and a summer clothing, and a fall clothing. New dresses are there. This is all shahwa. This is all part of the shahwa. This is all part of a lust that a person has, that I must get this, and they cannot control it. So he said, this is the one who um, would be regarded as someone who doesn't have character, is the one who cannot restrain themselves in a state of anger or control their desire. Now, Al-Qama' Utaradi rahimahumullah, Imam Ghazali quotes him and he says, he gave some advice to his son before he passed away about what type of person do you want to befriend. He said, Ya bunayya, oh my dear son, إذا أردت أن تصحب إنسانا, if you wish to take as your friend a person, anyone, what should you do? فَاصْحَبْ مَنْ إِذَا خَدَمْتَهُ صَانَكَ. Find a person, take your friend as a person that if you serve him, إِذَا خَدَمْتَهُ, if you serve him, he will, صَانَكَ, he will protect you and preserve you. He will appreciate your khidmah, and she will appreciate your service to her, and she will stand by you, preserve you, protect you, stand behind your back, even in your absence. Number two, وَإِذَا صَحِبْتَهُ, if you are in their company and spend time with them, then zanaka, they beautify you by their company. Meaning you are simply spending time with them makes you into a better person. SubhanAllah. There are certain people like that. You sit with them for half an hour, you just look at their akhlaq and you start thinking, this is how I should be acting with my mom and dad, or this is how I should be acting with my spouse, or this is how I should be raising my kids. This is the tone I should have when I speak at home. This is the type of language I should be using, etc. So just spending a little bit of time, it ends up causing so much opportunity for self-reflection that you end up benefiting from them, and they end up beautifying who you into a better person. وَإِنْ قَعَدَتْ بِكَ مُؤُونَةٌ مَعَكَ, and if you are in financial need, then this person helps you at that time. This is a quality of a friend. That if a person is distressed financially, that they would come and assist them. اصحب من إذا مددت يدك إلى خير مدها. Take your friend, one who, if you extend your hand towards something good, they assist you in it. What does this mean? That a person tells their friend that I would like to, inshallah, start memorizing the Quran. Okay, I am now 40 years old, 45 years old. I want to start memorizing the Quran. One type of friend will say, are you crazy? What type? Who ever heard of this? You are now middle-aged lady, and this is not the time to memorize the Quran. Those days are gone. You are now too old for this. So just don't waste your time in it. That's one response. Another response could be from someone who has not even memorized 10 surahs. Oh, my dear sister, this is such an amazing intention you have made. Allah bless you. May Allah reward you. You know what? I myself, I'm too busy and I'm too weak to do what you're doing, but I'm there to help you. Inshallah, you can. I can keep tabs on your memorization, and you can keep me posted, and I can check in with you every day to ensure that you were able to fulfill your goal. You should make a goal of one ayah or one line per day. As slow and steady wins the race. You don't need to feel overwhelmed. Let's just make a goal that you'll memorize Surah Al-Kahf by the end of the summer. Let's memorize, Surah Yasin. By next Ramadan, let's make niyyah that we'll memorize 30th juz. So let's come up with some bite-sized goals. Okay, so this is the difference now. One person is pessimistic, puts you down, and says, "No, Ahmed, this is not the time for this." And the other person is actually helpful, even though they themselves are weak in something, but they are there to assist you, to push you towards khair. Another good example, of course, many sisters always use is the example of hijab or jilbab or proper clothing, of modest clothing, etc. Someone is wearing the niqab, etc. A person says, I want to start this journey. I want to start this new path. I want to start self-reformation. You will find sisters who will help you, who will encourage you, who will be there to assist you and get accustomed to this new lifestyle. And then there will be others who actually will become obstacles. I remember many years ago, one sister reached out to me in Ramadan. She was coming to the masjid, and mashallah, she changed her life. She started from very improper clothing, very absolutely leading a life of absolute no hijab, to wearing on a scarf and wearing jilbab and changing her whole outfit and so forth. But on the day of Eid, afterwards, she contacted me crying and said, "You won't believe what happened in Eid Salah. But my friends came, met me in Eid, and they literally yanked her scarf off of her head, and because they were all non-hijabis. And they started making fun of her. Said, "Were you crazy? Why are you doing this?" She was not a young lady. She was probably in her, at that time, this is a long time ago, but her kids were in college. Her kids were in college. She's not some young, college student herself. So she was a mother of college-age children. I mean, she decided to start her hijab, but the type of friends she had were poison. That even though she intended to do something good, instead of helping her, they began to make things worse for her. So then, continuing on, Alqamah Mu'taridi is giving advice to his son before he passes away. And he says, make sure you stay in the company of the one. When you extend your hand for some good, they assist you. وَإِنْ رَأَى مِنْكَ حَسَنَةً عَدَّهَا. And if they see something good that you do, okay, then they appreciate and remember it. You want a friend who doesn't feel jealous, doesn't feel angry, to remember your goods. MashaAllah, you know what? Last week I was very impressed the way you handled that situation. Last week, subhanAllah, that person, he or she made fun of you, and in a very antagonistic manner they treated you, but you were so calm and collected. Okay, just it shouldn't be hard for this sister to compliment us for something good that we have done. This is a sign of true friendship, to highlight the goodness that we have and to use that as a source of further encouragement. Okay? And وَإِنْ رَأَى مِنْكَ سَيِّئَةً. And however, if they end up seeing something that is wrong that we have done, then they do not only do they not tell other people, of course they don't do that, but they don't also stay quiet and say, okay, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm not going to get involved. That's between you and Allah. That's between you and your mom and dad. That's between you and your spouse. That's between you and your kids. Nope. Instead, a true friend will stop their friend from indulging in a disobedience of Allah or any other mistake. That is what you call true friend. That if you do something good, they will appreciate it. They'll talk about it. And if you do something that is incorrect, they will try their best to stop you from doing that. Ishab man idha qulta saddaqaka. Stay in the company of the one. Befriend that person. Choose him as a friend. Idha qulta. Whenever you speak and you say something, saddaqaka, he believes you. Doesn't say you're exaggerating, you're lying, I don't believe you, and it take you lightly. Instead, truly appreciates your opinions and believes what you're saying to be true. وَإِذَا حَاوَلَتْ أَمْرًا أَمَرَكَ. And if you choose and you attempt to do something, they will accept your leadership. You make a plan. You say, inshallah, I have a plan. I want to start a youth group. And I want to do, this is my game plan, how we're going to, inshallah, serve the sisters of our community. The summer is here. I want to start a youth camp. I want to start a girls, Aqidah class. I want to start a girls ACT prep class. And this is how we're going to do it. So this friend of yours, instead of like talking you out of it, says, you know what? I'm behind you. I'm behind you. You can go ahead, take the lead. I'm here to assist you. They don't feel jealous, or they don't feel challenged. They don't feel like you're stepping on their foot, but they appreciate and are willing to give you the leadership role if you are deserving of it. They don't have a problem standing behind you, basically. وَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمَا فِي شَيْءٍ آثَرَكَ. And if you ever should dispute about something, who does this belong to? Who should take this role, etc.? Then in that case, they prefer you over themselves. They prefer you over themselves. That they would rather you be happy than they get something. So this is the statement of Alqamah al-Utaridi rahimahullah regarding advice to his son about who you should befriend. The third characteristic that we should be looking in a friend is, after number one was intelligence and sensibility, second one was good character, third one is as-salah, piety. He said, فَلَا تَصْحَبْ فَاسِقًا مُصِرًّا عَلَى مَعْصِيَةٍ كَبِيرَةٍ. Do not befriend a wrongdoer who persists in committing a major transgression. Why? This is a very important point. Someone who openly, again, this is not popular what I'm telling you, but this is what Imam Ghazali is saying. This is the truth. That if you stay in the company of people who are always committing sin, then even though their character may be good, but if they're committing open sin, what they commit behind the scenes, in closed doors, that you are not aware of, then you're not responsible. Nor should you and I sit there and dig up, what does someone do outside of our meeting time? What do they do at home? What do they do here and there? There's no reason for us to look into all that. As long as that is not spoken about in front of you, as long as that is not shared with you, as long as that is not affecting your gathering, then we all got, as they say, skeletons in the closet. It's not our responsibility to go check all that out. However, if they're committing fisk means it's a major sin that's done openly, and they're doing it repeatedly, consistently, and there's like no sense of shame. Then do not stay in the company. Why? لأن من يخاف الله لا يصر على كبيرة. Because the one who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be consistent with major sin. Will not be. The one who fears Allah may fall and commit a sin here and there. That happens. But if you fear Allah, you cannot be persistent on committing sins. Meaning, the one who is persisting in committing major sins, he or she does not fear Allah. Okay, then what? وَمَنْ لَا يَخَافُ اللَّهَ لَا تُؤْمَنُ غَائِلَتُهُ. And if the man, the girl that you are befriending does not fear Allah, then you cannot be safe from their danger. The one who doesn't care about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, deep down they won't even care about you. Why? بَلْ يَتَغَيَّرُ بِتَغَيُّرِ الْأَغْرَاضِ. Rather, the person will change as the objectives change. You know what we call matlab parasti. You know, that you're out there, you're there to take care of your needs. And if your needs are fulfilled, they will befriend you. If their needs are not fulfilled, then they will dump you and leave you. Because they are not people of principles. They're not people of values. They are people who are simply using you, although it may not seem like that, but they're using you to take care of their own needs. It might even be emotional needs, not financial needs. It might just be simply an emotional need that they need someone to spend time with. They're alone, lonely. So now you provide a very good, mashallah, ear. You listen to all their problems, and you provide an opportunity for them to get stuff off of their chest. But that's it. That's all they care. They're using you as a free therapist, all right, who just listens to them. So now, but beyond that, they have no fikr and concern about anything else about you. So what happened? You end up getting harmed by people who are committing major sins consistently, because that's a sign that they don't fear Allah. And the one who doesn't fear Allah, that means they will change like a chameleon. The color changes. Their colors also will change whenever their needs are not being met. So then he says, the next thing, why should you not stay in the company of a sinful person? فَحَذَرْ صُحْبَةَ الْفَاسِقِ. Stay away from the friendship of an open sinner. فإن مشاهدة الفاسق والمعصية على الدوام تزيل عن قلبك وقع المعصية وتهون عليك أمرها. He says, because if you on a regular basis are watching and seeing a open sinner and you remain in their company for a long period of time, this will remove from your heart all sense of the enormity of the sin and make those sins seem insignificant. You will start coming with explanations why they're doing what, and the fact that it's not a big issue. This is what happens. You'll see, I've read articles of people, they'll talk about a lighter stance on LGBTQ and a more nuanced stance on this, and the fact that this is a multifaceted issue. You say, brother, what happened to you? Where'd you get this from? Then you find out that his daughter actually became one of these. His son became one of those. So now what happened? The love of the son, the love of the daughter has given them the whole different so-called perspective. That maybe it's not as bad as it may seem. Maybe it's not as unnatural as it may seem, because my child is a great guy. My child is a great girl. And now if they're doing this, then I have to stand by their side and let them make any decision that they need to. I have unconditional love for them. Okay, so I'm sorry, I cannot agree with the stance that Islam has. For example, what happened? Because they spend so much time, and naturally as a parent, or even as a friend, in the company of a fasiq, what happened? That the enormity of that sin has been removed from the heart. Okay, then he gives an example. He says, وَلِذَلِكَ هَانَ عَلَى قُلُوبِ الْمَعْصِيَةِ الْغِيبَةِ. He said, this is why today people don't think twice about ghiba. Right? Let's be honest. How common ghiba is. How common ghiba is. And left and right, we cannot digest the food without ghiba. Ghiba is like the salt and pepper. Right? So why is that? Because society doesn't make it a big deal. If you speak about people in your community, you speak about your family, your relatives, you speak about board members, you speak about imams, you speak about politicians, you speak about whoever, no one says anything. Everything is acceptable because ghiba is not a major issue. However, Imam Ghazali says, however, if they saw a scholar and an alim wearing a golden ring or wearing silk clothing, then they would become extremely upset and strongly disapprove of it. Then Imam Ghazali himself says, وَالْغِيبَةُ أَشَدُّ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. And ghiba is much worse of a sin than wearing silk clothes for a man, or wearing a golden ring for a man. Even though those are sins, yes, but something more than that is ghiba. What happens basically is that whatever sin our society does a lot, then we slowly just become accustomed to it, and we don't think it's a big issue. Think about 30 years ago, 40 years ago. I mean, those of you who are, you know, from that time will know that if a person were to find a picture of an inappropriately dressed man on their phone or on their desk or in their textbook, and a man were he were to be found with an inappropriately dressed lady's picture, what would happen? What would the parents say? Right? What would the parents say? What would people say? How much trouble you would get in? What would people think about that? Subhanallah. Similarly, um, whether it's male or female, people would really say this is horrible. You got caught with this. But today, the era of phones and the era of social media, there is so many inappropriate pictures are just in your daily news feed, not even beyond that. And no one has a problem, even if you're accessing that phone in the masjid or in a dini gathering, and pictures of inappropriately dressed men are showing up, their satar is showing up, or inappropriately dressed women are showing up, their satar showing up for a man or a woman. It's not that big of an issue because why? Because phones have become very common, and the sins of the phone have become very common. But that's not the case. It doesn't make a difference whether something's common or not. What's haram is haram. So Imam Ghazali says because ghiba has become so common among society, people don't think of it as bad anymore. So that's why spending time more with fusaq and fujar will remove the hatred of sin from the heart. This is something. So we have two more, inshallah, and then we will be wrapping up. So if any of the sisters have questions, please put it in right now so that we can go right to questions at the end of this section, inshallah. You should be able to see it on your screen, slido.com, 408-6404, 408-6404, and it's anonymous. So inshallah, you'll be able to ask in that manner. Okay, number 4, a quality that Imam Ghazali says you need to find within a person who wants to follow the deen, al-hirsu. It is absence of greed. Make sure your friend is not greedy. Why is that? فَصُحْبَةُ الْحَرِيصِ عَلَى الدُّنْيَا سِمٌّ قَاتِلٌ. Friendship with someone who is greedy for this world is a lethal poison. Lethal poison. So someone who is never happy with whatever house they have, whatever car they have, whatever things that they have, they always want more. They always want more. More dunya, right? They have to continuously be purchasing. They are very consumer based, like yani commercial consumer type of thing. They always have to find out what's a sale and buy this and buy that every week, and not happy with whatever Allah has given them. Then the company of such people, what will it do? He says, Imam Ghazali says this is poison. And I love this point. He says, لِأَنَّ الطِّبَاعَ مَجْبُولَةٌ عَلَى التَّشَبُّهِ وَالِاقْتِدَاءِ. Because a person's nature, human nature, is designed to imitate and follow by example. Human nature is designed to follow and imitate by example. And then he says something really powerful. الطبع يسرق من الطبع من حيث لا تدري. He says, rather, indeed, a person's nature may take from another person without even realizing it. Imam Ghazali rahmatullah alayhi here uses the word yasriqu, which means to steal. When a person steals something, he does it in a very subtle, quiet manner without the other person realizing that he's stealing. So Imam Ghazali is saying that when you spend time with another person, especially someone who is greedy for dunya, who is very materialistic, then you won't even realize it, but that your nature will slowly start changing. My dear mothers and sisters, remember this. When we spend time with someone, one of two things must happen. There is no third option. Either you are going to have an impact on their life, or they are going to have an impact on your life. Either you are going to bring some change within them, or they're going to bring some change within you. It is not possible that you sit there absolutely neutral without you having any effect on them and they not having any effect on you. It's not like that. It has to be either both, that each one is affecting the other person in some good or bad manner, or one person who's got a stronger personality and the other person might have a weaker personality, that they are affecting. It's a one-sided effect. So this is a very I think important to focus on the word yasriqu, stealing. That many times we don't realize what's happening to us as we spend time with someone, but our nature slowly starts changing, just like a person is stealing from someone without them noticing it. So then he says, so that's why spending time in the company of someone who is absolutely attached to the dunya, this will increase your own love for the dunya. On the flip side of it, spending time with someone that is zahid, that is disconnected from the dunya, then what will happen? This will also create within you zuhud, and it will make you from amongst those who will want to renounce running after the dunya. You will be happy and content with whatever Allah has given you. The last quality Imam Ghazali talks about that you need to look in a friend is as-sidqu, that they are absolutely honest. That they are absolutely honest. He said, do not befriend a liar. فَإِنَّكَ مِنْهُ عَلَى غُرُورٍ, for you will always face deception from a liar. وَهُوَ مِثْلُ السَّرَابِ, a friend that's a liar is like a mirage. You know, mirage in a desert. You think there's water there, when you get there, there's no water. He said, what does this liar do? يُقَرِّبُكَ مِنْهَا كَالْبَعِيدِ وَيُبْعِدُ مِنْكَ الْقَرِيبِ, that he will make what is far seem near to you, and what is very near to you seem far. A person who's lying will make something that is something very important for you, he will make that unimportant, because the way he will present it. And something which is unimportant, he'll make it as though it's very important, because the way he will present it. So here Imam Ghazali now ends on this section. These are the 5 qualities and characteristics that you need to look in a friend before you choose them a friend. He does end this point by saying something which was Allahu Akbar, 1,000 years ago, saying that وَلَعَلَّكَ تَعْدِمُ اجتماع هذه الخصال في سكان المدارس والمجالس والمساجد. It's possible that you're not going to find even one person inside the masjid, inside the madrasa, who's got all of these 5 qualities in the manner that they're supposed to. What should I do now? This is 1,000 years ago. You're saying you're not going to find people like this in the masjid, madrasa, and deen institution. So then he says, well, then you have to compartmentalize. You have to figure out, okay, let me find someone. Let me start dividing up responsibilities. You know, like basically, ideally, you want to have one shoe that fits all. You use that in the gym, you use that in the party, you use that at work, you use that at school, everything. But that's not how the world is, right? Especially for sisters, it's very different. All different types of shoes for different occasions. So one type of shoe that's used for an occasion, you don't bring it to another occasion. Like the gym shoe, you're not going to take it to a party. The party shoe, you're not going to take it to the gym and to play basketball or whatnot. So similarly, there are different types of people in the world, and you'll have to now become selective and see which quality that this person have that I should use. This should be my spiritual buddy. This one should just be my homework buddy. This one should just be my sports buddy. This one should just be my hobby buddy. Each one has their own specific niche. You have to make sure that you spend time with them only taking care of that one issue, and that you're not spending time with them outside of that. Otherwise, we end up losing ourselves and are losing our deen. So I hope, inshallah, tabarak wa ta'ala, this discussion of Imam Ghazali's Bidayat al-Hidayah was beneficial for all of you. Again, this was pages 137 and 139 from Bidayat al-Hidayah that I was reading from, 137, 39. You can find a PDF of it also online. And you can, inshallah, purchase the book also. It's a very beautiful book called Bidayat al-Hidayah. It's published by White Thread Press, and we sell it here at Dar es Salaam, and you can find it online in other places as well. Inshallah, I hope one day to come and actually teach this entire book, out there as well. And I've just, on this past trip, one of the ulama was mentioning that if they would like me to teach this. So inshallah, I hope Allah Azza wa Jal will, make that happen. Okay, so we have questions. Can I make dua to marry a specific person and for Allah to reunite us in the halal? Sometimes I make so much dua for our hidayah. Okay, yes. If you have someone in mind that you want to get married to, then there's no reason you not to make dua. And you should make dua that, Ya Allah, if this is good, like the dua of istikhara, that Ya Allah, if this is good for me, then make this happen. Because many times we don't know. Many times you think something's good for you and ends up not being good for you, or you think something bad for you and it actually is good for you. So make that dua that, Ya Allah, if it's good, make it happen. Gee. Any other sisters got questions? Slido.com 4086 404 4086 404, and go ahead and text message any questions there. As we are waiting for some more questions, inshallah, want to uh, remind all of us to benefit now that the summer is here. Let us try our benefit to let's try our to benefit ourselves by choosing the best company, by attending Islamic programs that are happening within our area. Please contact your local masjid, your local institution, to find out what are programs geared towards sisters and what are the type of classes that are being offered. This is the best way to make the full use of the summer, that you enroll yourself in a program in which will become more confident in your deen, character will be developed, and you'll also build great friendships, inshallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept that. And there are a number of programs that we specifically in Chicago also offer. So if you are heading out to Chicago with your family, please do come stop by, inshallah. We have our we have our 1 month summer intensive that begins June 19th. We have our Arabic intensive, which begins in July. Alhamdulillah, if you're coming with younger siblings, we have an age for ages 12 to 17. We have ages 6 to 12, and then eventually from ages 3 to 5. So pretty much the entire family. There are programs happening here throughout the summer, inshallah. So if you're interested, just go visit the website masjiddarussalam.org and learn about these programs. And we hope that they'll become a means of great benefit. Okay, as a sister, how do I deal with a family that has not supported me trying to become closer to the deen? My dear sister, may Allah make it easy for you. If we focus on your own heart first, like a lot, focus on your heart staying away from haram, your eyes being guarded from haram. Your family's got nothing to do with that. You have to make sure you're not watching haram, you're not listening to haram, you're not speaking haram, and you have no haram relationships. You're performing your salah on time, you're doing your wudu properly, you're sleeping on time, waking on time, you're reciting as much as you can of the Quran daily basis, doing dhikr, etc. These are things that your family doesn't have much control over, and they don't even know much about it. If you focus on your personal level, basic, private, personal issues, and you become stronger on this, inshallah, Allah will guide you to be able to make bigger decisions as needed. And Allah will also change the heart of your family towards the deen, inshallah. Yes, any final call? Any more questions, inshallah? How do you weed out bad friends without thinking you're extreme and then getting a bad picture of them? Okay, sister, you've heard from alhamdulillah the last 50 minutes. At the end of the day, you have to become selfish. You cannot worry about what people will say about you. You cannot worry what friends will say about you. You have to look at yourself. Are you becoming a better person with such people, or you're not? I was right now in one masjid, and a young boy, after my talk, one of the college students, high school students, came to me, and he said, this kid, he is I don't really talk to him, but now after 4 months he's texting me, and he started showing me his text messages, and he's saying, can we meet up, can we go for lunch, this, that. And he's like, I don't know what to do. I said, I looked at the messages, and instantaneously, alhamdulillah, Allah put in my heart, and it was right. I said, this guy seems to be a drug addict, and he's wanting to meet you to be able to take money from you to fuel his continue to buy drugs. And the boy told me, yes, you're right. This person, me and him, we used to smoke weed before, long ago, and I left him, and I'm trying to become a better person. I'm going to the masjid now, but he doesn't leave me, and that's what we used to do in the past. I said, it was very clear. This is what he's trying to do. He's connecting with you because he wants to get money from you, and he's using this as an occasion. Keeps on texting, keeps on messaging. Who does that? Oh, can we meet? Can we hang out? Can we hang out? I miss you. I miss what we used to do. And that is a way you can see the trends of those who are addicted. They need money, and they will befriend people just for the sake of money. And of course, they will steal money from their mom's purse and their dad's wallet as well. May Allah protect us all. May Allah guide those who are addicted. So I told him right now, block him in your phone. Just block him. Khalas, done. This guy is a cancer. May Allah guide him. But right now, you cannot be. You already were in this habit in the past. If you continue to sit and chat with him, Allah forbid, you might just fall into it again. So my point is, if there are people in your friend circle who are harmful for your deen, do not worry what he or she will say. You have to love yourself more than anyone else, and you have to be a little selfish about your deen and your dunya, and say, you know what, I need to kind of slowly just stop meeting this person, start avoiding that person. And if they don't like it, they don't like it, but you got to care about yourself. I hope that helps. How do I guide my mother who wears hijab in America but takes it off when she goes to her country? Well, may Allah make it easy for her. You need to find out what's going on. Maybe she doesn't understand what hijab. I mean, if there are certain countries in ex-Russian, ex-USSR countries, that are extremely repressive, and they will maybe even jail you for that. I'm not saying it's what to do and what not to do in that situation, but I can understand maybe where she's coming from. But if someone is going to a country where there's no suppression and oppression of sisters wearing hijab, then we need to seriously figure out there must be some misunderstanding. Like, why is she taking it off? Maybe she thinks that amongst Muslims you don't have to do hijab. I'm not sure. That just seems kind of very ajib to wear in America and not wear it back home. What is the best, most effective dua to seek Allah's guidance? Okay, well, you can, one is what we do in Surah Fatiha every single day. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Right? Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. You're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance. This is one of the, whenever you read that, don't just think about guidance of Jannah and guidance towards Akhirah, it's guidance in this world as well. There's another beautiful dua, Allahumma alhimna marashid amurina, Allahumma alhimna marashid amurina, wa'idha min shurri anfusina. Oh Allah, inspire me with the best way in my affairs. What is the best way to deal with my affairs? Wa'idha min shurri anfusina, and Allah, protect us from the evil of our nafs. Protect us from the evil of our nafs. That's also another beautiful dua to do. Any other questions? Okay, inshallah. I hope whatever we shared was of some benefit, inshallah. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our coming here and our listening and our sharing. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this a means of bringing change within our lives and the lives of our loved ones. Let us conclude inshallah with a short dua. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma anta salam, salam wa ya jalali wal ikram. Allahumma lakal hamdu kullu wa lakal shukru kullu. Allahumma la nuhsi thanan alayka anta kama athnayta ala nafsik. Allahumma ya hayyu ya qayyum bi rahmatika nastaghith aslih lana sha'nana kullahu wa la takilna ila anfusina tarfata 'ain. Allahumma ihdina wahdi bina waj'alna sababan wa sabila liman ihtada. اللهم اهد الناس جميعا اللهم اهد الناس جميعا اللهم اهد الناس جميعا اللهم ارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم ربنا هب لنا من ازواجنا وذرياتنا قرة اعين واجعلنا للمتقين اماما ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للقوم الظالمين ونجينا برحمتك من القوم الكافرين رب اغفر وارحم وتجاوز عما تعلم إنك أنت العزيز الأكرم اللهم اصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا واصلح لنا دنيانا الذي فيها معاشنا واصلح لنا آخرتنا التي فيها معادنا واجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.